Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here with all of you. My name is Father Michael Denk, and I'm going to be leading your parish and mission this Sunday night, Monday night, and Tuesday night. And as you'll see, I love to tell stories. I love to sing songs. I love making people laugh. And ultimately, I love teaching people how to pray. I'm really excited because this Friday at 10 a.m., Jimmy Buffett tickets went on sale. They did, 10 a.m., so I waited there like a kid on Christmas morning waiting for the tickets to come up, and all the tickets that came up were all in the back part of Blossom. You couldn't get anything in the front. It was already sold up to like third parties. So if any of you know Jimmy Buffett or his agent or anything, I'm trying to meet him, so hook me up. I think that notion of wanting a backstage pass or wanting to get to meet somebody that you really esteem can relate to all of us. In today's gospel, especially, Jesus takes a couple of his disciples with him for this kind of backstage pass. So it reminds me of a little Jimmy Buffett song. I'll sing along if you know it. I took off for a weekend last month just to try to recall the whole year. All of the faces and all the places, wondering where they all disappeared. I didn't ponder the question too long. I went hungry and went out for a bite. Ran into a chum with a bottle of rum, and we wound up drinking all night. I don't really drink. It's those changes in attitudes, changes in latitudes. Nothing remains quite the same. With all of our running and all of our cunning, if we wouldn't laugh, we would all go insane. Do you ever have that moment where if you don't laugh, you're going to go insane? There's something about changes in latitude that can change our attitudes. Now, Jimmy Buffett is talking about going somewhere tropical, to change the latitude and change his attitudes. But today in the gospel, we hear about a change in latitude. So the disciples go to Jesus, and where do they go? Up to the mountain to pray. And as he leads them up to the mountain to pray, he transfigures himself before him. He reveals his glory, and amazing things happen. The disciples see him. He looks like the sun. He's just radiant and white. And Moses and Elijah are there with him. And Peter's so excited, he says, "Can we just build 3 tents and stay here forever?" Such an amazing experience. Well, that's ultimately what I'm inviting you to. I'm going to give you these backstage passes where you can have this experience of the Transfiguration. You see, in our Catholic faith, there's actually 3 levels of prayer. So the beginner level is called vocal prayer. Vocal prayer is when we say our prayers, or we might recite our prayers. Vocal prayers are often what we learn in grade school. Then after that is what's called meditative prayer. Meditation is when we start to use our imaginations and our thoughts, and we actually dialogue with God. We can see, we can hear God, believe it or not. And then finally, ultimately, is contemplative prayer. Contemplative prayer is like experiencing heaven on earth. Contemplative prayer is what happened at the Transfiguration. The disciples got to experience who Jesus really was. So I was trying to explain this concept to 3 marketers one time. So I have this nonprofit called The Prodigal Father, and it helps me with all my book publishing and app development and resources to help people teach people how to pray. Now these 3 guys were what you would call really good Catholics. So for example, one went to my same grade school, Holy Family. They all went to Catholic grade school, Catholic high school, and Catholic college. So I'm telling them about this way of prayer and how I can really teach them how to pray contemplatively. And as I was talking to them, one of the president of the company actually said to me, "Father, we got to stop you right there. We don't know what you're talking about." And I said to him, "Well, what do you mean?" And he said, "Well, what do you mean? We don't know what you mean by this deeper prayer." And so I said, "Well, tell me about your own prayer life. And I want you to stop right now and think about this. How is your own prayer life? Think about the last 24 hours. Did you pray? When did you pray? Where did you pray? What was it like?" So during Lent, we're called to increase our prayer, our fasting, and our almsgiving. Think about your last 24 hours. I'll give you about 10 seconds to think about it. Scan it over. What was that experience like for you? And how is your prayer life? So I did the same thing with these 3 guys. I said, "Tell me about your prayer life and share with me." So the first guy, the president, said, "Father, I don't know that I really prayed yesterday. But, when I drive to work in the car, that's my prayer time. So I'll drive to work and I'm talking to God, and, I'll just tell him if I have to hire somebody or fire somebody, and I'll just talk to him the whole way to work." And I said, that's wonderful. Have you ever heard God speak back to you? And he goes, well, no, Father, I'm not crazy. I don't hear voices or anything. And I said, okay, well, that's a good example of vocal prayer, right? So he's talking to God, he's using his voice, but he hasn't yet entered into meditative or contemplative. So then I said to the second guy, how about you? Tell me your story. And he said, Father, I'm kind of the same. I don't really set time aside to pray, but I'm very grateful. I have a good family, I have a good job, I have a good wife, good kids. I got everything going for me. I'm just grateful. So I said, well, that's good. That's a prayer of gratitude. The Eucharist is, the source of our gratitude. So again, he's at the vocal prayer level. And then the third guy raised his hand. He said, all right, Father, I pray every night. Before I go to bed, I kneel down and I say the Our Father, the Hail Mary, and the Glory Be. And then I go to bed. And I said, that is so beautiful. I said, when did you learn to pray like that? And he goes, the second grade, Father. And I said, did you ever think you might grow beyond that? And the truth is, some of us, often most of us, have never been taught how to pray beyond what we learned in second grade. So all three marketers are standing right there, and I think I have them in the palm of my hand, right? And I say to them, what if I could show you a way to experience contemplative prayer? What if I could teach you how to pray? You know what all three of them said? We're good, Father. That's all right. They did, honest to God, with me, the priest pitching it to them. They said, no, we're good. And I think we all have that tendency to think, I'm all right, I got this. When really, Jesus is inviting us to experience heaven on earth. And honestly, the reason I want to meet Jimmy Buffett is because he's a fallen away Catholic. That's the reason I want to meet him. I want to meet Jimmy Buffett and take him on the same retreat that I'm going to take you on, where I can teach you how to pray meditatively and contemplatively. So these three guys clearly don't get it. So I tell them to close their eyes for a moment. And if you're comfortable with me too, close your eyes for a second. So I invited them to close their eyes and think about sitting on the Sea of Galilee. So imagine you're sitting right there on the shore of Galilee. And there's a fire there crackling. And you can feel the warmth of the fire. You can hear the embers crackling. You can feel the waves gently coming up against the shore. And all of a sudden you feel peace, maybe for the first time in your day or the first time in your life. And then you look across the fire, kind of through the smoke and through the embers, and you see a face, and it's Jesus. I want you right now to try to picture his face looking through to you. And he looks at you and he says, do you love me? And he waits in silence. Then he says it again, do you love me? And he waits in silence. And now this time you can really see on his face, he's waiting for you to answer, and he says, do you love me? And I just want you to spend a moment with him and say, yes, I love you, Lord. And try to be in that scene. Hear the waves, smell the fire, feel the warmth. And then you can open your eyes now. I invited the three guys to open their eyes, and the president of the company had tears coming down his face. And he said, Father, I've never experienced anything like that before. Ultimately, that's what I'm going to lead you on, is this deep prayer of meditative and contemplative prayer where you will experience the transfiguration. You really will experience God in a very real way. You see, in our church, we've kind of gotten a little bit off track. The church has done a really good job of catechizing people, like teaching them about the faith and sacramentalizing them, putting them through the sacraments, but we haven't really helped people enter into this prayer where God becomes real. One of the things I love about prayer is that it is never boring. My spiritual director of the seminary used to say, if prayer is boring, you're doing it wrong. Okay, so Mass shouldn't be boring, our daily prayer shouldn't be boring, because we're encountering the mystery of God. And that's ultimately what I'm going to help lead you on. So I invite you all to come to the parish mission. And I'm just going to end you a little song, a little jingle advertisement that I wrote. And you have a backstage pass. I'm going to take you to see Jesus. I'm going to take you on this wonderful adventure where you will encounter him in a very real and profound way. I do a little bit better. I don't have a lot of rhythm. So maybe if you guys could help me out. Clap once. Clap. Stomp. Clap. Stomp. Clap, stomp. Keep it going. There, you guys are good. Here's a little song that I wrote You want to sing it note for note. Don't worry, keep it up. Be happy. In every life we all have trouble, but when you worry, you make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. Parish mission is at 7 p.m. this Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. I'm gonna teach you how to pray. Don't worry. Be happy. I promise if you pray 40 days, your prayer life will be set ablaze. Don't worry. Be happy. Okay, quit clapping. You don't have rhythm. Father Don Snyder, Deacon John, Sisters Mary, Joan, Jonica, Marilyn, and Barbara will be there too. The choir will be singing right on cue. Don't worry. Be happy. We hope to bring the entire parish for 3 nights you're gonna cherish. Don't worry. Be happy. Bring your kids, your husband, and your wife, even if they give you lots of strife. Don't worry. Be happy. 'Cause in the end they're gonna love it, and they'll have you to thank for it. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy, and come to the parish mission.